Okay, just brought home this big old Bright Hill Credenza. It's in pretty rough shape. But first thing, I got to figure out how to get this out of here by myself. It's pretty heavy. It's not too bad though if I can get the top off, so I'm going to try to do that. All right, so I got the top loose, and let's see. I think maybe I'll take the top out first. Okay, so I got the top of the Credenza unscrewed and brought into the garage. Of course, I forgot to turn the camera on, but you didn't miss much. It's really cold out here and I want to get inside, so time to take the base out. Got it. Okay, got it out of the car, and as you can see, it's pretty rough. It's upside down, obviously. Especially this base, there's a lot of finish missing there. And down here near where, people's fingers would go to get the latch or the drawer pull or the door pull, whatever it's called. A lot of finish missing there. Just overall pretty rough, but it's gonna look good when it's all refinished. If you've been following my channel for a while, you may recognize this Credenza. I did one just like it about 5 years ago. I found it on the side of the road, took it home, and fixed it up. It was the same make and model as this one, and I actually still have it in my house. I'm going to take these doors off. It's going to make it a lot easier to work on this. And some of the hinges look like they need some work. Like this one, it's not closing all the way, and clearly somebody's been messing with these hinges. They don't have the original screws in them anymore. And that one on the bottom, which is actually the top, looks like it's not even on all the way. So I'll probably have to adjust something there later. I'm going to use a stripper to take most of the finish off on this piece. But this section here on the base, it's already falling off on its own. So I'm just going to use a scraper and scrape it off. Shouldn't take long. While I have this turned upside down, I want to take care of as many of the issues on the undercarriage as I can before I flip it over. And one of those issues is the little feet, the little glider things in the corners. They've sunk down almost below the surface of the wood, so they're really not doing anything anymore. So I want to dig those out and put some new ones in. So this section of the side is particle board with veneer on either side. But it looks like on each end there is solid wood, and that's what these are driven into. But there's a pretty big gap here left, so I think I'm going to fill that in with some epoxy putty. Okay, so I just cut off a little bit of the epoxy putty. A little goes a long way, and it's a two-part thing here. You just mix it together, and once it's all mixed, then I can just shove it in there. It does help to wet this down, or wet your finger a little bit with water when you're trying to kind of move this around and shape it and smooth it. But I don't have any water on me, so I'm not doing that. And it's really cold out here, and the water would probably freeze right away. And I just let that dry, and then once it's dry, I can sand it smooth and put the new glider in. I brought the doors inside to strip the finish off, and the stripper I'm using is QCS by Stripwell, and it worked really well on this old finish. Alright, so this has been on here for about 15 minutes, and I'm just taking some fresh stripper and just kind of working the finish off with my brush, and you can see how it's already coming off. If you'd like to try QCS for yourself, I have a discount code in the video description that you can use to get 10% off your order at stripwell.com. While the doors were easy to bring in the house to strip, the rest of the credenza was not going to be so easy, so I decided just to strip it outside. The temperature was only about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, but the stripper worked fine. So there's something funny going on with this door. It's got this spot here. Feels like maybe it's some kind of filler. I'm not sure what happened there, but if you flip the door over, on the bottom it feels like it's a little bit raised there. Almost like something actually went through the door. Hopefully not, but see how it looks once I get the finish off. Alright, so I don't know what that is, some kind of filler, I guess. So I'll have to do something with that. Maybe dig it out and put something else in there, I don't know. Okay, so here is a before and after. This door down here has been stripped and there's nothing on it, no finish, and it's got some really nice color. And then here's one that has not been stripped yet, and it does not look very good. So it's kind of interesting how this nice color can be hiding under the old original dirty finish. All you have to do is remove it, and there you go. Okay, so maybe it's not always that simple, but sometimes you do get lucky, and it is simple. It just goes to show that sometimes, even if a piece looks too far gone, it may be easier than you think to save it. This is the door that has that damaged spot that was filled in, and it's also got this going on here, this little piece that's coming off. So I'm going to glue this down with some super glue, and then there's a piece missing here that I'll need to fill in. All right. Put a little tape down just to keep the glue from getting where I don't want it to get. Come on. A little bit of accelerator. All right. Now I have to fill in where there's wood missing, and I'm going to use these hard fill sticks. So I was going to melt some of this one in too, but this is lighter than that, and I think maybe instead I'll just put some in that's just a little bit darker. And I think I may need to change the batteries in this iron. It's not heating up very well. There's a little bit of a gap here. Fill that in too. Then remove the excess. And there's actually a tiny bit missing there. I'll put some in there too. And mix some of this in here, why not? so it's not all one uniform color, since the wood isn't one uniform color. Alright, so the repair is right here, and I think it looks pretty good. I could go in there and draw in some very fine grain lines with something like this fine tip black marker or brown marker. But I'm going to wait just in case I end up doing any sanding on this. If I draw those in now, I'll just sand them off, so I think that's good for now. The credenza had some veneer chips on the bottom edge, and I wanted to repair those with the hard fill sticks. But first, I had to get it upright on its side so that gravity was working in my favor. Turned out the batteries were dead in the iron that I was using, so instead I just used a lighter, and that actually worked pretty well. Now it's time to start excavating whatever's going on here. See what's underneath there. It's starting to look smaller. I've uncovered some of the grain there, so that veneer is probably okay. Alright, so it's probably not worth trying to get the rest of this stuff out of here because it looks like the veneer in this area is just gone anyway, so I can't save it. And this stuff is really hard. So I think I could probably just leave this stuff as a base and then put something over it to fill it in, and something that'll look better. I'm going to try filling this in with some of these hard fill sticks and see how that goes. Alright, so that's obviously too light, but we're just getting started. I'll try some of this color. A little bit of this. All right, let's try some of this. All right, this is as far as I've gotten, and it's not perfect, but I think I'm going to leave it here for now. And I'm probably going to want to add some grain lines and maybe adjust the color a little bit, but I also might need to sand this, so I don't want to do that before I sand, because then I'll just sand it all off. Next, it was time to add the stain, and I'm using a walnut gel stain. Actually, the color is, I think, antique walnut. And then I could apply the top coat, which is a satin wipe-on oil polyurethane. Then I can put it all back together. The last thing to do was to put the top back on. And I see a lot of people online that call this a slate top. And it may look like slate, but according to some old Broyhill literature that you can find online, this is actually a man-made fiber cement. So there you go. And here it is, all finished. Thanks for watching.